Writers, was there ever a time when you were reading a book and you just felt like everything clicked? Like it was exactly what you wanted to read about, you were really focused, and you weren't distracted by anything else, and you were focused on nothing but that book? And I want you to think for a second and think back to that time for you. And I want you to really think to yourself, when did reading work for you? And why do you think you were successful? So just pause this video for a moment and think about that for yourself. Okay, I hope you're back now. And I can share a story about one time when I thought reading really worked for me and why I was successful. One of those times was this summer when I was having a chance to read a chapter book that I hadn't read for a really long time. And I wanted to read it again because I was really interested in the content matter. And there was nobody else around. There was really no internet, so I couldn't be distracted by anything else, and it was a really nice rainy day outside, and I was sitting in a very cozy spot. So, and it was also all of those things together that were making me a successful reader at that moment. So I was sitting in a really nice spot. I was able to focus. I had no distractions. I was reading a book that I really wanted to read. It was about something that I was really interested by. And also, it was at my level. It was something I could easily understand. Part of what makes us good readers is that when we select books that are just right for us, and I know you've been talking about this since kindergarten, and we're going to spend a few days talking about it this week. So our reading focus today is I can select books at my reading level for interest and enjoyment. That just means that we're learning a little bit more, or just kind of remembering, sticking our brains to remember about how to pick up books that are just right for us. So maybe you can think about your story about why you were successful. And part of that story has to do with picking a book that's just right for you. So I'll show you an example right now. So I picked this book out of the back that we still happen to have for some reason, and it was Snow White. So I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll read this. I'm kind of interested in it, and I'll start reading it right now to see if it's something I could read. Snow White lives with a pretty queen. The queen asks her mirror who is fairest of them all. The mirror says that the queen is the fairest. This makes the queen happy. One day the mirror says that Snow is the fairest. The queen gets angry. Okay, well, I'm going to stop right here. I'm a page or two in. And I'm feeling like those words are really easy for me. In fact, so easy I'm having a hard time paying attention. It's kind of fun to look at the pictures, though. I'm enjoying it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe this is a book I would want to read to somebody who's much younger, like maybe in kindergarten and first grade. But this isn't really holding my attention right now. I'm feeling like I'm thinking about other things that are going on, including my phone texting me in the background, but among other things. But I'm having a hard time paying attention to exactly what I'm doing. So I'm thinking to myself that maybe this book is what we call a little too easy. So I'm putting right here, I'm going to say, if I can find any of my whiteboard markers. So too easy, I'm going to say words are simple. So one of the things that makes a book too easy is maybe that the words are simple, or maybe even a better way to put it might be, I know every word. I know every word. I'm going to say there's no challenges. There's no challenges as I read. And I'm also going to say another thing. I'm going to say it doesn't really hold my interest. So doesn't hold my interest. I can't stay interested in it because it's just a little simple for me. It's not something I really want to read. I'm going to put it down like this. Next, I'm going to pick up a book that I found upstairs in our bookshelf. And I believe it's one of my husband's books. It's called The Classical Dynamics of Particles and Systems. So let's take a look at it right now. So I'm going to take a look at it. And I'm going to start reading on the first page. The first page says, matrices
Matrices,
vectors, and vector calculus. Thanks, helper. I appreciate that. Physical phenomena can be discussed concisely and elegantly through the use of vector methods. In applying physical laws to particular situations, the results must be independent of whether we choose a rectangular or bipolar cylindrical coordinate system. Okay, so I'm stopping right there. Now, a lot of those words I could read, right? No problem. But I can't really comprehend or understand exactly what's going on. Now, if I took the time, I'm sure I could. It wouldn't be a problem. I'm a smart person. But I'm struggling here to understand what's going on. And also, it's not really holding my interest, to be honest. Sorry about that. So, it's not really holding my interest right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that
Give me my book back.
Is probably too hard. So I'm going to say I'm having trouble.
That's correct.
Trouble. Family members, can I have you be quiet during this? Having trouble. Sure. I am having trouble understanding the words. I'm having understanding what's happening. I'm having a little trouble reading the words. Having trouble reading the words. And then the last thing I'm going to say is not holding my interest. It's not holding my interest. It's not something I can concentrate on. Okay? So those are two books right there that I read. One was too easy and one was too hard. Now, I said right here, I asked the question earlier, I said, when did reading work for you and why do you think you were successful? So some of the things that I was thinking about that made me a successful reader and that helped me pick a just right book, I was thinking right here, I was saying the words. This, for some reason, is kind of smudging, so I'm going to switch to another one. The words were not too easy and not too hard. I knew most of the words. Knew most of the words. So I may have to struggle through one or two, but I was able to pronounce a lot of them. I was able to know a lot of them, okay? Reading felt good, okay? So I'm going to say I understood what was happening. I had good comprehension. I understood what was going on. And I'm going to say the last one is the topic held my interest, or what the book was about. The book held my interest. Now, that's the really interesting thing about just right books. Sometimes books that are even a little too hard for us or a little too easy, those can hold our interest, especially if we're reading about a topic that we're really, really interested in. So your job today, third graders, is to start thinking about how it feels to read a just right book. And I want you to really focus today when you're reading during your independent reading time on picking out a book that really feels just right to you as you're reading along in it. Have a great day, third graders.